Washington Centre for English, and these are my top tips for the speaking section of the CAE exam. Part 1. The most important thing to remember for Part 1 is to be concise, but not too concise. The examiner is going to ask you simple, straightforward questions. They want simple, straightforward answers. So there's no point coming into the exam with pre-rehearsed speeches, and avoid going on long digressions. That said, the whole point of the speaking exam is to speak. You need to demonstrate your grasp of English. So don't just give one-word answers. For each answer, illustrate. Provide the examiner with a bit of detail. Part 2. In Part 2 of the speaking exam, you're given some pictures to compare. Don't just describe the pictures. There's no point. It's a waste of your time. You're supposed to compare them. So, make sure you learn and practice some expressions of comparison and contrast. For example, while, whereas, in a similar manner, like, unlike, in contrast, etc. Also, it might sound obvious, but make sure you answer the questions. Many candidates become so caught up in their comparisons that they actually forget to answer the questions that the examiner asks them. So please make sure you remember that. Part 3. This is the collaborative task. It's collaborative, not competitive. So please don't try and dominate your partner and dazzle the examiner with your superior command of English. This won't win you any points. Listen to what your partner has to say and make sure they participate in the process from beginning to end. It's supposed to be a conversation, not just a series of monologues. To that end, make sure you learn how to agree and disagree politely with your partner. So, for example, expressions like, I agree up to a point, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree with you there, I beg to differ, and so on. Part 4. This part of the speaking exam is also collaborative, so the same rules apply as in Part 3. Don't try and dominate your partner, make sure you listen to what they have to say. We want to see you reacting to what your partner says. Such expressions might include, that said, in this part of the exam, you're not given a very narrow task to answer, like in Part 2 and Part 3. Here you're just asked some questions, and you have more time. So develop your ideas a bit more, really show the examiner what you can do. And some final tips. First of all, don't be afraid of asking for clarification. This is very important. If you don't understand something the examiner says, or if you don't understand what you're supposed to do, please ask. You are allowed to do this and you won't be penalised for doing so. Secondly, practice makes perfect. It sounds obvious, but lots of these exam tasks seem very kind of difficult and complicated at first. Really, there's just a knack to them, and to get this knack, you need to practice. And then finally, most students at this level have a good command of the basic structures and mechanics of English. What really sets the advanced students apart is their more varied vocabulary, their grasp of idioms, and their general air of ease and fluency in the language. And this is something very difficult to acquire. But you can improve by constantly exposing yourself to English. So read voraciously and not just the Evening Standard on the tube. Listen to the radio, watch films and TV, seek out native speakers, and try and avoid speaking your native language as much as possible. That's all. And good luck.